Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting AMA session here at Crypto Miners. I'm going to be your host. My name's Jenny. Most of you know me. For those of you who are new to our community session like this, I say welcome and do well to stay till the end of the AMA. And if you have any question that you would like to ask the team, that we're hosting today, feel free to prepare your question and we'll try to take them. Today, we will be talking with a very interesting project, in my opinion, and that is Tectum. Right, so we're going to be having a chat with them about the project, and what we are to expect as investors who are interested in the Tectum project. So, I do not know if any of the team members are here already. Okay. Um, we will just wait a bit, maybe like a couple minutes for them to arrive, and then we can get this started. Hi. So Tectum Social, I just gave you permission to speak. I added you as a speaker, so please, Tectum Social, if you can hear me, please, you've been added to the speakers. Um, or if you are having any technical issues with Twitter on your end, please do indicate, or you could request again and I will add you afresh. Hi.
Hi, Jenny. Apologies about that. It was myself. I was on Tectum Social, but I've hopped onto my Twitter.
It's totally fine. Welcome. So, it's good to have you here, Russell. And if you're ready, we can just, jump right in as soon as we've lost about 6 minutes of the time. So, can we begin?
Yeah, absolutely. Ready to go.
Okay. Awesome. So, once again, everyone, welcome to this session. Like I mentioned before, we have Tectum here with us, a project that I consider interesting, in my opinion. So, if you're joining us for the first time, do well to stay till the end of this session. And any questions that you might have regarding the project, prepare them, and we will try to take them. So, Russell, let's begin with an introduction of the team. I would really, really love to know, meet the team behind the Tectum project, a little bit of introduction of the team, and maybe just a bit of background prior to the development of this project, and then we can go into the overview.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to be here. My name's Russell. I'm CEO of Tectum. I actually come from a medical research background, then looked at combining blockchain technology with medical research. That's the root of my history in the space. We've got Trevor McCarter on the call. He's our COO, and he actually comes from a manufacturing, engineering, and agricultural background. Similar background to myself. He looked at ways to combine what he's learned in those industries into the Web3 space, into the AI space, and the blockchain space. And then we've also got Albert on the call, and he is our CRO or CCO. He evaluates all of the risk issues, all of the compliance issues. He comes from a traditional banking and investment background. And once again, that took him into a foray into the Web3 space, what he believes to be the future of finance. And that's how he ended up with us as well. And I'm not sure if he's actually participating, but we've got Brendan as well. He's our CSO on the call. He comes from a sales background, a lot of technologically related sales, and he got into the space with a similar kind of concept, a combination of his background plus where he thinks the future of many different industries are going. So that's a little bit of background to us. We've also got our full team that are completely doxed on our website. So you can go over to our team page on our website. We've got LinkedIn for most of us and Twitter pages for most of us. So actually, to give a bit of a background to the company, I'll probably hand it over to Trevor. Trevor, if you want to pick that up. I don't think you've actually appointed Trevor as a speaker. He is Trevor McCarthy.
If he can hear us, could he just maybe request to speak so I find him easily, Trevor? Because just would be fast.
Yeah, Trevor, if you could request to speak. I know Trevor's having a few issues with his Twitter at the moment, but perhaps Albert, then you'd pick up on the history of the company.
Okay. I have added Albert as a speaker.
Right. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I wasn't listed as a speaker on the screen, so I wasn't aware of that. So Chris Mind is the parent company of the Tectum project, and they hold all the IP. They've developed all the IP over about the last 9 or 10 years. We started out as a DLT project for a B2B client, and during that time, the chief architect, Alex Gusev, and his development team realized that they had the basis for basically a blockchain. The B2B client ended up pulling out, and from there, the development team put together this incredible fast blockchain that is our native blockchain. We don't ride on somebody else's blockchain. This is our internally developed blockchain. So it's extremely fast. We are able to process over 1 million transactions per second. And one of the secrets to that is instead of taking, let's say like Bitcoin, where they take quite a bit of data from the previous block and include that in the current block, what we've done, instead of taking that data, we keep that data at a lower level, a third level, and then we do a hash of that data. So the hash is a 32-bit hash. It's on the it represents the data at the lower level, and that's what we build blocks on. So one of the reasons that we're so fast is that we only use a hash to confirm the current transaction. So that's one of the things that makes us so fast. There are some other products that we have built for other people, for other projects. We're essentially, we started out as a cybersecurity company, and we've developed a number of other products that do run on our blockchain. One of them is what we call XFA, which is a three-factor authentication method that is quicker and much more secure than the current 2FA models that, say, Google and Microsoft offer. So our XFA project is something that is basically a B2B enterprise type of project, product, and we use that on our own website, and that helps keep the security very high for people that log in. They can use this three-factor authentication on their smartphone. So it's a fascinating product here. We are offering that to other enterprises that want to have their security on their website logins increased. We've also developed a secure private messaging service called Grig Messenger, and that has been used for highly secure applications where people need that kind of security. It's similar to WhatsApp and Telegram. We've also built a trading platform that is Sharia compliant for a business in Abu Dhabi. So we've had a lot of experience in mostly security, but also certainly on the blockchain. Now, our premier token is the TET token. It is a utility token, and it is specifically used to create, or what we call mint, soft notes. Soft notes are our flagship product, and they run on our blockchain. Soft notes are very, they've been created to mimic digital and physical cash. So a soft note is denominated in a certain currency, could be Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT. Certainly the application of that is extremely broad. It could be used with sovereign fiat currencies as well. The soft note itself is a smart contract container that is created using the TET token. So that's why we're here to talk about TET and what it can do for everybody. Once you have the TET tokens, you can actually create a bundle of soft notes in a specific currency, say Bitcoin, and that creates 100 notes that are different denominations that mimic cash. So they come in specific denominations like, $1, $5, 10, 20, 50, 100, all the way up to several million. People can create those soft notes, and then they have to fill them with a cryptocurrency. So it's, as Trevor says, it's like an envelope that's empty, and you create it. It's got a specific address for the wallet, and then once it's filled with a crypto, let's say Bitcoin, it is able to circulate. It can be sold to other people for the face value. It can be used in retail transactions. One of the things that we've worked very hard on is to make crypto micropayments and transactions affordable, actually free, P2P, and it gives us a chance to use this in a global manner with retailers all over the world. So there is no border for being able to use soft notes. You create a soft note or purchase a filled soft note, you're able to send that on any kind of messenger service. You can actually send it over the phone, and what you would send would be the serial number of the soft note. So it's a unique serial number that's tied to that specific soft note, and then there's a dynamic passcode that is the representation of the ownership of that soft note. So again, you can send this in any fashion. You can use it in a retail environment. You can send it peer-to-peer. It can go anywhere on any messenger service. It's quite a unique product.
Thank you, Albert, for that very detailed explanation. I think you went ahead and explained, because I was going to ask you to help us, understand Tectum and soft notes, because when I was, preparing for this session, I clicked on the website link, and then I was seeing soft note. I was confused for a bit, like, wait, did I click on the wrong link or something? So that was what I was going to open with, to help us understand it. But I like that you have gone ahead to do that. Now, once you mention transactions, you mentioned that soft note will mimic fiat, right? And can be used for transactions. And once that comes to mind, the next thing we want to ask, or anybody will want to know, is that, there has to be some sort of liquidity, or forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. I will confess that I have no background in tech, so I struggle to try to grasp it. So, but if we can be able to use soft notes for transactions, does that mean that there's going to be some sort of liquidity backing that is going to be totally different from the one you're going to provide for the Tectum token? I don't know if you get my question.
I think I do, and that's a good question. So I just kind of gave a general overview. I didn't get into any details. So we'll start with the Tectum token. TET is a utility token. It's not a security. It's not a coin. It's a utility token, and its primary function is to create soft notes that run on the Tectum blockchain. And when you use your TET tokens to create soft notes, right now what we're offering is one TET will allow you to create a 100 pack of soft notes. Now, each pack you can choose to mint soft notes in BTC, in Ethereum, in Tron, USDT. Obviously, we're going to be adding strong crypto and stable coins to our ecosystem in the future. But currently what we'll do is we'll just talk about the BTC application with soft notes. So you take your TET token and you use that to create a 100 pack of soft notes. Now these soft notes have denominations just like cash, as I explained. So you can go up to 100 Bitcoin on there. What you do is when you create these soft notes, they go into your soft note wallet, and at that point they are unfilled. So they're like an empty container, an empty box, say a safety deposit box. They have a serial number, which is unique to each one of those notes, and they have denominations which are unique to each note. So once you create those soft notes, then you have the opportunity to fill the soft notes with whatever cryptocurrency, in this case BTC. Now 100 pack of soft notes to fill all of them currently takes 0.0825 BTC. And then you'll have about $4,500 worth of BTC soft notes. And we're talking about an approximate $50,000 Bitcoin price. So as the price of Bitcoin in sovereign currencies changes, then the value of those soft notes will change with the cryptocurrency. So when you create a soft note and you fill it with Bitcoin liquidity, each of those soft notes has a unique Bitcoin wallet address. And that address, you can check that on our soft note explorer. So if somebody hands you a soft note, you can check to make sure that that soft note has liquidity in it. So that specific wallet address is where that Bitcoin that collateralizes that particular soft note. That's where that collateral resides. So one of the interesting things is that typically when you send cryptocurrencies to someone else, that has to be that transaction has to be confirmed on whatever native blockchain of that cryptocurrency that you're using. And our chief architect and devs came up with a really interesting idea. Instead of sending coins through the native network, which certainly with Bitcoin can be very expensive when the congestion is high, and it takes quite a long time for a confirmation to come through. So what we've done is we don't send coins. What we do is with the soft note, we send ownership of that actual wallet address. So there is no transaction recorded on the Bitcoin blockchain. So what we've done is taken all that time and expense element out of trading Bitcoin using soft notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does to an extent. I can, get the picture now. Yeah.
Right. So if I send you a Bitcoin soft note, let's say a 1 Bitcoin soft note, I can send that to you from my soft note wallet that is on our blockchain, or I can send it to you in a messenger service, let's say Telegram. So I could send you a visual representation of that soft note, or I could just send the serial number, the unique serial number, and the passcode. You would then go to the soft note explorer and look at that soft note. You would click on a button that's referred to as proof of funds, and that will show you the actual Bitcoin wallet address and what's in there. So you can confirm that it's a real soft note. Then you would take your 6-digit passcode and enter that, and it's automatically in a random fashion changed. So my passcode that I originally had that gave my ownership to that particular soft note, you enter the current active passcode. The passcode is dynamically changed in our system, and then you have a new passcode. So the ownership of that particular digital wallet, let's say a 1 Bitcoin wallet, the ownership of that wallet is now your property. And since there's a new passcode that I do not have, I have no access to it. So there's no double spend problem. It is a very fast transaction. So you actually have ownership of that wallet. You can then send that or use that soft note in a retail environment or send it to someone else using the same method. So again, we're not sending stable coins or cryptocurrencies. We're sending the wallet address where that crypto is held. So it's a fascinating concept, and what it does is it gets around all the network congestion, for instance, on the Bitcoin network. So when there's a lot of congestion, a lot of transactions, the fees go way up, and certainly the time to confirmation goes up as well. So we are able to send Bitcoin on our network basically instantly and free. The only time that there is ever a commission charged is when you use it in a retail environment. So in that sense, it mimics the credit card payment industry, like MasterCard, Visa, and some of those payment systems. So you don't have to pay for the soft note transaction. The merchant, if it goes through a merchant, that's the only time that there's a commission or a transaction fee, and it's charged to the merchant, similar to a credit card. Now, credit cards have anywhere from 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% that they charge the merchant. Our system is fast with very little overhead and expense, so we're charging much less. We charge a maximum of 1% commission on any transaction, a retail transaction. So when that happens, the merchant pays that fee. That fee has 5 beneficiaries. So if you mint a soft note, you have the first beneficiary position for recurring revenue every time that soft note trades hands in a retail environment. So like a credit card, like a merchant processor, they take a fee for a credit card transaction. We take a smaller fee for a merchant transaction. And those fees are split 5 ways. So let's say it's a 1% commission. The person that minted the soft note has rights forever to 20% of that 1% fee. Then the person that fills it with liquidity, and that could be you, it could be someone else. When you create a soft note, they also go into a general pool so that people that don't want to create their own soft notes, they just want to fill them with liquidity that they have and actually put that cryptocurrency to work, earning commissions on retail sales. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. Um, can I ask? Now you said that there are no charges, unless you are using it for, retail purchase, right? So
That's
I imagine um, that of course that is a source of revenue for your system, but um, how do you intend to like increase um adoption for this particular interesting monetary system that you have? How do you intend to increase adoption? Because I feel like that obviously that is the only way that an increase in adoption will lead, of course, to an increase in revenue as people get to use it to make retail purchases. Of course, it brings back revenue to the system. Now, how do you intend to go about mass adoption for this?
Well, let's look at the credit card industry. The first credit card came out in the late 50s, and everybody was skeptical. Nobody'd heard of credit cards. Everybody used cash or they wrote a check for a purchase. So as credit cards, the concept of credit cards caught on, there were many we call them ISOs, independent sales organizations, that they would then go to all of the people that they currently have in their merchant list, and they would say, look, we've got this fabulous new way for you to accept purchases with a credit card. Well, we're doing the same thing. This is the paradigm shift in the credit card industry. So it's a huge industry, obviously, and what we want to do is globalize merchants and bring them into the SoftNote ecosystem. Now, we do have an EPOS terminal, a merchant terminal that has just gone live on our testnet. So a merchant is able to make SoftNote transactions on a smartphone or on their laptop, whatever digital system they use in their shop. Ultimately, we're going to have a merchant terminal that's able to do that as well. But our globalization effort basically goes to businesses, local merchants, regional merchant organizations, and they're going to be the ones that take this product to their individual merchant groups and get them on the SoftNote system. One of the things that has plagued the crypto industry in the past is that crypto is not user friendly for microtransactions. If I want to pay for, let's say, a cup of coffee with a Bitcoin, you can only guess how much that transaction is going to cost me and how long it's going to take. So the SoftNote system for a retailer that accepts that is going to be instant, and he will have that in his wallet immediately. He can then give me change if I give him a larger Bitcoin SoftNote bill, and so that's how the system's going to work. We already have a number of merchants that have signed on as early adopters, and of course, bringing out our TET token and launching that is going to be the beginning of this big push to globalize the SoftNote project. Something else that's outside of the retail environment, and my background is in international trade and finance and corporate banking. So my vision of the SoftNote is not only in the retail merchant environment, but it's at the sovereign country level. There are a number of countries that are looking into CBDCs, right? Central bank digital currencies, and these can be problematic in that these currencies, these central bank currencies, will be programmable so that you can have your funds tied up if they don't like you, if you have a low social credit score, things like that. Whereas the soft note, there are no boundaries to using a soft note. You can send this all across the world instantly for payment for anything. It's, again, free peer-to-peer. When you use it in a retail environment, the merchant pays the low fee, typically 1% or less with us, depending on the size of the merchant and the number of transactions they process. So this really breaks the barrier of the credit card issues. And also we compete very, very directly with the SWIFT system. If your listeners are familiar with the SWIFT system, it's the interbank messaging transport system, which is currently used. And then they've taken the SWIFT system and made it political by, banning certain countries from being in the SWIFT system, trying to keep them out for political or social reasons. So the soft note system there is no way that it can be used for political purposes. So it's basically a global form of crypto cash to crypto. And that's where my emphasis lies. So in other words, we could take a country that is considering rolling out a central bank digital currency. We could actually take their sovereign currency and turn it into a soft note system whereby people all over the world could use that particular soft note. Let's take Ghana, for instance. Their national currency is called the cedi. We could nationalize their currency, put it on soft notes in all the denominations that the local currency already has, and they could be transacted digitally. They could be sent anywhere. There's no boundary. The interesting thing about a soft note also is it has physical properties. I can take a soft note, the graphic image of a soft note with the serial number, and I can print that out on my printer. So in a sense, I'm creating my own physical cash with a soft note. Let's say we go back to that one Bitcoin soft note. I could print that out, Jenny, and hand that to you along with my passcode. And it's just like handing you a $100 bill. So you have physical ownership of it. You input the passcode. That passcode is automatically changed to a new passcode. That is your proof of ownership of that one Bitcoin note. And again, the ownership is of the Bitcoin in that wallet address, that unique wallet address that's on that soft note. So if you want to get that Bitcoin out, we have a process called the burn function. So if you decide, okay, I don't want to spend this one Bitcoin note, what I want to do is actually get the Bitcoin out of the note. What you would do is you would go to your soft note wallet and you would enter the serial number and the passcode that is your right of ownership, and you would hit the burn function. And what that does is it in a highly encrypted manner, it gives you the private keys to that soft note public wallet address. So you would then actually own that wallet. The Bitcoin is taken off the soft note. Soft note goes back into the pool to be filled again. You would then have that wallet with one Bitcoin in it. So it's a very easy way to get whatever the currency of that soft note is out of the soft note, get it back into whatever wallet, whatever public address there is. So that's the way that you get your money out of a soft note, whether it's USDT, whether it's cryptocurrency, any kind of stable coin. That's the way it operates. So to get into it, you load the cryptocurrency onto a soft note, and to get it out, it's the reverse of that process. So you would then, when you burn it, you would have control of the public key as well as the private key. So it's just like a regular Bitcoin wallet. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Now, before I go to I would like to ask a question about regulation, financial regulation systems, and all of that. But I was going through the comment section and I saw this question. I feel like I have to ask it. So the question says, what are the flaws in Ripple's design and execution, and how does it compare to Tectum's soft node system
Well, that's a Russell
and
question.
Bitcoin?
He's the fundy on this. So if he would kindly address that issue, particularly with Ripple and the Lightning Network.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Albert. So Ripple have two mechanisms of transporting value. They've obviously got XRP, which is their token, and they've also got an IOU system. So they started with XRP, and everybody knows XRP is limited to about 1,500 transactions per second. And the Ripple company is actually holding more than 80% of the nodes, 60% of the nodes. So it's very centralized with regards to control and overriding transactions wherever they need to. And of course, it's very slow. So 1,500 transactions is better than what Bitcoin and Ethereum used to do, but it's still nowhere near the likes of the Swift system, Solana, Aleph Zero, and what we might call the Generation 2 blockchains. So Ripple didn't suffice for the purposes of major businesses or a micro-transacting solution. So what they came up with was their IOU system. So Ripple's original aim was to overcome the issue of cross-border remittances and going between currencies and having to pay conversion fees. So they came up with an IOU system, which is essentially a messaging system between two businesses that know each other and trust each other, and they're able to essentially promise funds for the future, and then the business that supposedly received that IOU can then promise funds back, and it can level out against what was promised. The big problem with this is it's not good for new businesses or integrating businesses that haven't already developed trusted relationships with other businesses. So the IOU system hasn't been nearly as popular as people presumed it would do. And just to touch on what Albert was referring to there regarding the Lightning Network, a very similar issue there. The Lightning Network, of course, was created to scale Bitcoin. The reason why Bitcoin needs to be scaled is its TPS is all the way down at 7 transactions per second. And of course, this just doesn't suffice for any type of mass adoption. And one of the most interesting statistics, Jenny, is although Bitcoin holds, let's say, 8 times the amount of the crypto market than USDT does, it actually circulates 5,000 times less. So USDT, holding 1/8 of the market that Bitcoin does, circulates 5,000 times more than Bitcoin does. Now, everybody loves Bitcoin, clearly, that's why it has so much dominance in the market. But the reason why USD transacts so much more frequently is because you just can't use Bitcoin for that purpose. So the Lightning Network came about. Their idea was to create a micro-transacting platform for Bitcoin, but they really got their inherent first stage of the design wrong, which was a multi-sig wallet. So everybody knows the Lightning Network channel is a multi-sig wallet, but in a multi-sig wallet, you need 2 signatories, not numerous signatories. And when you limit it to 2 signatories, that channel essentially can only function in that manner if both the sender and the recipient are A, online, and B, the only ones involved in that transaction. Now, as soon as you want to open it up to other recipients, you have to go through what they call routing channels, and routing channels then become no longer trustless or no longer truly decentralized because you have to have a watchtower system in place. The watchtower system just makes sure that none of the recipients along that channel go offline. And then if they do go offline, the watchtower system has to actually make somewhat of an arbitrary decision as to where the funds need to be allocated. And the issue with this has been demonstrated in the numbers of people willing to use routing channels. They've just been very low. So when El Salvador wanted to make Bitcoin their national currency, they started with their Chivo wallet. The system underlying the Chivo wallet was the Lightning Network. But within about 2 days, you had people complaining of the fact that they were standing in KFC after going to McDonald's trying to make a payment, and it was taking 40 minutes because McDonald's didn't want to use the routing channel. So the payer or the person trying to buy their fast food had to settle on the native Bitcoin network and then open up a channel with McDonald's or KFC, whichever one they were going to, and they were waiting 40 minutes for that to go through because they were still relying on the Bitcoin native chain. We don't do that because we've created a singular wallet and we're not actually moving the funds in the wallet. We're just moving the ownership of the wallet, and every single soft note has its own wallet assigned to it in a given denomination. The denominations go from 10 cents all the way up to 100 Bitcoin. That means it's completely recipient independent. So it doesn't matter who you're sending it to, on what platform you're sending it. The only ownership rights are determined by that dynamic passcode. So if you have the latest dynamic passcode, you own that soft note, you own that Bitcoin wallet. And it actually turns out to be more anonymous than Bitcoin because on our ledger, and the ledger is completely live, everybody can go and see this, the only information that changes is that dynamic passcode. There's no sender address, there's no recipient wallet address, so the anonymity is very high. It's completely user independent and is on the fastest blockchain in the world. So it just makes it the ultimate micro-transacting system.
Thank you, Russell. That was so brilliantly explained, you know. Now I have about 9 minutes more before I open up, opening up to the community for their questions, maybe 2-3 questions. And I want to try to crack, just 2 questions into that time. And I think the first question would be about funding. Now I'm excited. Honestly, I am very, very excited whenever I see projects, good projects offering something really, really unique. Because, as an investor in the space, I am so exhausted with the trendy tokens, and would really love to see something good. But I would like to ask, now that you've done all of this development up until this point, I imagine that it must have been costly. So it begs the question about funding. How have you been able to fund development up until this point? Was there any kind of maybe VC backing or seed sale or something of that nature? And I am asking this because it's strictly from the perspective of an investor, somebody who's interested in the project. What they want to know is, this is dope, what you have created is good, but how were you able to fund? Could you give us the details about that?
Yeah, very insightful question. So what I can say categorically is none of us would be here. The team would not be here if it was purely on the basis of what we were being paid. A lot of us have taken huge pay cuts to go through all of this from our previous job roles. It's because we really believe in the vision, is because we really have a passion for the project. So we are a cybersecurity company. We do have other products and they have helped to fund this project. But we did actually start our seed sale about 2.5 years ago. We've done it in stages, and overall we've raised about, when you take account for how much Bitcoin has dropped, probably about $1.2 to $1.3 million. Now, we have purposely stayed away from VCs that would want too much control. Perhaps we've gone back and forth with about 50 different VCs. Up until this date, all of the VCs wanted to change our model, at least the ones that we were close to doing a deal with. So they didn't want the soft node to be as decentralized. They wanted more KYC and AML implemented. And of course, that was totally antithetical to our vision. So we had to turn down some really big deals, much more than what we had actually raised. So we don't actually have a VC on board. We are predominantly community funded, plus investment funds from those within the team and money that we've raised from our previous project. Now, our previous projects were in a B2B environment, so there was a sort of income, but it wasn't a large amount of income. So we've done very well to get here on the amount that we've had, and we've all worked tirelessly, I guess, on a lot less than we would have naturally earned elsewhere. But the whole idea is the vision. The whole idea is what we're really building out for the community. And the community have been absolutely incredible in our raises, been very supportive, got behind us. And many of them have even come on, given us some of their hours for free, given us suggestions, which has really propelled us along the way.
Okay. I know that as an AMA host, I am supposed to maintain a very neutral whatever, and not be biased. But I have to say that I am very, very impressed because you saw how I mentioned the first thing I mentioned was VC backing, and that's because projects of this magnitude, I am so used to, you know, hearing them being funded by, VCs and all of that. So I am extremely surprised and impressed at the same time that, all of this has been done by the team. It's pretty amazing. Kudos.
Thank you. No, we appreciate it. And look, I can only send best regards and the highest kudos to the whole team because they've been so devoted in towards working towards our vision and, not earning a great deal. So yeah, it's been an absolute team effort, community effort, but we're really happy to be here on that basis, not having a VC that's going to control our ultimate product vision.
Beautiful. Now, one last question, and then we'll take 3 questions from the community. I think that question is something that's very, very important, as there is no traditional business or otherwise or Web3 project that will succeed without important partnerships. So I am going to ask, what steps have you taken to establish partnerships and collaborations with maybe other crypto projects or financial institutions or regulatory bodies to ensure the adoption and acceptance of your monetary system?
Yeah, perhaps Albert, you'd like to pick that question up.
Sure, and that's a great question, and a very necessary one. So we have a number of partners in the marketing realm. We have some other blockchains and other projects that are currently on other blockchains that are very interested in incubating and using our blockchain because it's so fast and it's so inexpensive. So we have currently 2 different blockchain projects that would like to incubate with us on our blockchain ecosystem. And so we're going to be bringing those things out as well. So not only will it be strictly our products, our Tectum products, but it will also be several other products that potentially would be running on our blockchain. So that's one of the ways that we're expanding our reach into the general crypto industry. We have one project that is basically it's referred to as a move to earn. So it takes people, it gives people an incentive to exercise. It's based on the number of steps. It's similar to a Fitbit kind of system. And so they currently are on the Ethereum blockchain. And they've, of course, encountered a tremendous amount of expense and time lag on remuneration for the people that participate in that. So again, our blockchain is open to anybody, and we would incubate them. We would help them develop products that can run on our blockchain. And another blockchain that is in the Middle East, they're very interested in using our soft note on their own blockchain. So we're working with them on that concept, and our developers are working with their developers. So aside from the marketing partnerships that we have, we also have these other blockchain companies that are interested in running on our blockchain or taking our soft node product and using it on their blockchain for instant and free payments and transactions.
All right. Thank you for answering that. Now, I have one more question, but I will not ask it here. I will definitely be in your community to ask that question because it is very, it's important to me. This is so I can give other people the chance to ask their questions. So if you guys are ready, we'll just go ahead and take 3 questions before we wrap things up.
Great.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. So Blaze, if you can hear me, Blaze, I have added you as a speaker. Please go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I'm a fan of the Tectum token for a while, and about the holding of your token. like
Okay.
merit.
Blaze,
But due
you
to
are
the
breaking
fact
up
that
pretty
a lot of
badly, and we
token,
cannot hear you.
hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Blaze?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is about the long-term benefit of the holders of the token. What benefit does the long-term holders have?
Sorry, Blaze, can you say that again? The long term, and what was the word you used?
Yeah, the long-term holders of your token. What benefits
The
do
He
they
long
was
have?
term
asking,
orders.
yeah, what are the benefits?
I see. Okay, so the utility of the token.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. To run through the utility, so the first utility, Albert alluded to this earlier, is actually, Albert, would you mind muting out? There's a bit of background noise. So yeah,
I think
long-term utility.
that
Go
would be
ahead, Jenny.
Blaze. Blaze, could you mute your mic, please?
I think Blaze was muted.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we'll go ahead. So the long-term utility of the token, firstly, is the minting of soft nodes. So Albert alluded to the fact that our blockchain actually has two layers. The top layer is the static layer. Sorry, the dynamic layer. The second layer is the static layer. So, of course, the passcodes and the serial number are stored on the top layer. The passcode changes quite frequently. Then on the static layer are stored a few beneficiary positions. And when you mint a soft node, you get the first beneficiary position for that soft node. So that means every time your soft node goes through a retail environment, the retailer pays approximately 1% in fees, and you get 20% of that automatically through a smart contract deposited into your TET wallet. So your TET wallet address is actually stored on the second layer of our blockchain that's assigned to that soft node. So you get those rewards perpetually, essentially for a lifetime, the lifetime of the soft node and potentially your lifetime. And so that's the first benefit of minting soft notes through the TET token. So that's the first utility. The second utility of the soft note is merchant fees. So because we really believe our merchant solution is the best merchant solution out there, the fees are much lower than all the competitors such as Visa and MasterCard. And of course, you get instant settlements. So most companies have to wait 24 hours to 72 hours to get their settlement from Visa card or MasterCard or EMS or WorldPay, which are different merchant terminal systems. With the softnote system, because it's all on the blockchain, you will get your settlement instantly. So this means theoretically every merchant in the world, and there's no cost for this, could sign up for softnotes and then pay far less fees than they're currently paying and get their settlements instantly. But the way they have to pay their fees is in the TET token. So every merchant that signs up to our system, and our merchant terminals have just gone live. So if you've got a company, you can sign up right now. When you receive a soft note, you pay up to 1% in fees, but you have to pay that in TET. So all merchants will have to hold TET, which is our native token. The third utility of the token is, of course, staking. For our nodes consensus protocol, we run a mixture of our own consensus, which is proof of utility. That is essentially how we rank the nodes to determine how frequently they get chosen to write transactions. But the other half is proof of stake. So they have to stake a certain amount of tokens in order to be within the validator node pool. So we will have community staking go live for nodes in the next few months. And of course, you can raise a good APY on that. And then the fourth utility is actually our own staking pool that's going to be running for the next 3 to 6 months. And we're guaranteeing a minimum of 49% APY. We want to make it absolutely lucrative for anybody who gets into the TET token early. So for the first 3 to 6 months, there will be a 49% APY. Then if you look at the fifth utility of the token, it's regarding the fact that we are a layer one. We're calling ourselves a third generation layer one, with the first layer one to have 2 layers to its blockchain, which I believe makes it the ultimate utility blockchain. And that means we're going to be launching a lot of products on our blockchain. As Albert alluded to, we are incubating projects from next month. We've already got quite a few lined up. And whoever's holding the TET token is going to get the first access to utilizing these products, and of course the first access to any private sale, seed sale, and pre-seed sale. So holding onto the token or using the token gives you all of that access. And then the sixth utility is access to all of the products we already have functioning on our blockchain. So Albert alluded to the fact that we've got the best three-factor authentication from our cybersecurity B2B appliances. We've got a messaging service, but unlike Telegram, it is actually on the blockchain. And we've also got a few other trading style platforms. We've also got a big AI module that's coming out in about 2 weeks. We've been vetting the beta version of that this week, and we've also got a big medical project. So it's medical data being processed with AI that's going to come out in the next coming months. So all of the TET token holders will have the initial access to all of those utilities, and pretty much all of those utilities start from TGE as well.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to ask about the verification and your KYC, but I think I'll allow others to ask that question. I'll just
Thank
ask
you
in your turn.
kindly. Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I ask
Yes,
my
go
question
ahead.
now?
Sure.
Okay. So I just wanted to know, can you provide more information about the consensus mechanism used in this layer 1 blockchain? And also, how does it ensure security, immutability, and consensus among network participants?
That's a great question. I'll answer the first part of it, then pass it over to Albert for the security side. So we actually run a novel consensus mechanism, which is 50% proof of stake and then 50% proof of utility. So of course, we've made the claim that we run at 1.3 million transactions per second. That has been demonstrated on our testnet, which is completely live, and our mainnet that is completely live. But of course, that's a standard that we want to be the minimum of our blockchain. So we came up with the concept of proof of utility that functions on 4 factors. It functions on the basis of the node's hardware. It functions on the basis of the node's ability to run our software. It functions on the basis of the node's internet connection or network connection. And it also functions on the basis of the node's ability to constantly stay connected, i.e. to avoid outages. So all of those factors work through a novel formula to produce its proof of utility ranking. So the way our nodes work is we've got 3 layers to the nodes. You've got the elect node. That's the node that proposes a transaction. Then you've got the master nodes, they're the validators, and then you've got the nominal nodes. Nominal nodes are any node that isn't validating, so anybody can sign up for a nominal node. But to get into the tier where you actually validate transactions, you have to have a ranking over a certain score. And that ranking is constituted on the basis of the amount of tokens that you've staked plus your rating from proof of utility. So if your rating from proof of utility is over the threshold and your rating on the basis of the amount of tokens you've staked is over the threshold, you will ultimately, as a node, get pushed into the master node levels. And from the master node, the system randomly assigns, on the basis of rankings as well, positions for half a second as an elect node. So the elect node is the only one that gets rewarded, but he switches in and out every 500 milliseconds. So that's a little bit of a technical perspective. But to answer your question, consensus happens that way. So the elect node makes a proposal with regards to a transaction. All of the validator nodes evaluate it on the basis of being able to hold up to 1.3 million transactions per second. And of course, if there's no violations of the ledger, they are written immediately, and then they're pushed down to what we call the nominal nodes, who will then hold a full ledger, just as the master nodes of the whole blockchain. So with regards to consensus, that's how you get there. With regards to validation, that's how we get there. Concerning security, Albert, if you want to pick up that one.
Yeah, I was unable to hear anything that Nadia asked. So if someone could repeat that question, I'll be happy to try to answer it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very interesting question. Nadia asked, given we are a layer one and we're approaching layer one technology in a totally different manner from all of the traditional blockchains, how do we ensure the consensus mechanism is reliable, the validation of the transactions are reliable? But her question, which I've moved on to you, was about finally the security of the blockchain. How do we ensure the security?
Right. Well, the security of the blockchain really resides on the fact that the actual data itself is kept on a third layer, and we only use a hash of that data. So, as you understand hashes, SHA-256, it's relatively impossible to reconstitute the data based on that hash. And since our blockchain is so fast, let's say you have some kind of supercomputer or quantum computer, it's still going to take them far more time, even if they can, to recompile the data based on only the hash of that data. So by the time that anybody even thinks about it, it's already written to the block, and that data is therefore not usable to them anymore. So it's the speed and the consensus mechanism and the fact that we write the blocks with hashes rather than with the actual data, like with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin block is a fairly large size, a megabyte or more, and it does contain that data in there. So we use a hash of the data, and that is what is essentially an unbreakable representation or fingerprint of the actual underlying data that is stored down on our third layer.
All right. Thank you guys for answering that question. And Nadia, I hope that answers your question. But if you do have more, please make sure to join the community and ask your question. Now, Julian, quickly, one question, just one question you.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Yes. So I want to know how has Tectum been able to create a perfect monetary system where features like scalability, fungibility, and decentralization is actually at its peak level of development? That's the question. Yes. So I want to know how has Tectum been able to create a perfect monetary system where features like scalability, fungibility, and decentralization is actually at
Albert, are
its
you
peak
able to
level?
mute out? Because there's a bit of delay on your side. So yeah, in answer to your question, great question. Fungibility wise, so the soft note is completely fungible because we've done it on the basis of set denominations. So for example, there's no soft note that theoretically should be worth more than another soft note that has the same denomination. So that's how we get to the element of fungibility. Scalability, that's a great question. The whole idea of the soft note is scalability. We originally started with Bitcoin, and we believe that Bitcoin gives all the decentralization that is necessary. We believe that it gives all of the security that is necessary. So all we had to do as a mission was to modify Bitcoin's ability to scale. And we decided to just focus on that without losing any of the security and decentralization of Bitcoin. So that's why we're using real Bitcoin wallets. We're using real Bitcoin private keys, and we're using the Bitcoin blockchain to store the liquidity that underlies the softnet. But where we bring the scalability in is, of course, through two factors. The fact that our blockchain runs at 1.3 million transactions per second, but also the fact that the ownership of those Bitcoin wallets, or what we call soft notes, purely rotates on the basis of a dynamic passcode, i.e. a changing passcode. And because a changing passcode is so much cheaper and easier to store on a blockchain, and because the serial number is only a certain amount of digits that are assigned to that Bitcoin wallet, and because it's a real Bitcoin wallet connected to the soft node via encrypted private keys, and because that Bitcoin wallet holds real Bitcoin that's on the incredibly secure and incredibly decentralized Bitcoin blockchain, we believe that we truly have accomplished overcoming the Bitcoin trilemma or the blockchain trilemma. So those, I believe, are the points that you referred to, plus fungibility. And that's how we accomplish all of them. And so far, our community have minted 1.4 million soft notes. They've utilized them, and we've had no bugs with them thus far, and it's functioned exactly how we intended it to.
Wow, that's really a great one. Thank you for answering my question. Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Jillian. All right. So, just to wrap up here, personally, I would like, as I'm sure many would, a little bit of information about the deal, as you know, in case we want to buy into it. I'm not saying that as we want to, so.
Sorry, Jenny, I don't know if it was on my side, but you were breaking up there.
Oh, okay. I was asking if you could just quickly give us a little bit of information about your public sale round. How we
Yeah, absolutely. So we decided to go for a fair launch, and we decided to go with Gempad. We know the guys over at Gempad. We love what they're doing. They've tried to essentially build a far more decentralized and a far more safe and rigorous platform than PinkSale. So we decided to do our listing as a diamond listing. They've made us the #1 listing. They pinned us, so on and so forth. And actually, within our first 1 minute, we broke the Gempad record for any raise. Within the first hour, we broke the Gempad record for any raise. And then within the first 24 hours, we likewise broke the record. So things are going incredibly well on there. It's been trending on Twitter. It's been trending on the different crypto platforms. And we've still got 24 hours left of that fair launch. So do hop in, grab some Tectum tokens. That gets you straight into the ecosystem. And it also supports the project, and enables us to keep building out what we believe is the future of cryptocurrency.